So thanks everyone for being here. We're super excited for this edition of the PDX Tug. Today we have Jade here that is going to walk us through Tableau and Miro. And Miro is a super cool tool, and don't want to give too much away, but Jade's going to be talking about how you can utilize it to really collaborate as a group on your dashboards and start to prepare things. So just an idea of like our upcoming tugs and our leadership. So we have Jack, Jonathan, Chris, me, and Ryan, and Cynthia. I'm sorry, I was a little slow on updating the slides, but we got Cynthia here as well.
Thanks, Danny. I see how it is, right?
I was a little scrambled getting this together.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
Minus missing me.
So in May, Chris will be leading us in our tug, and we've had to do some adjusting of the dates here because we previously had it scheduled before Tableau Conference was announced, and Tableau Conference was announced to be the same time as that tug. So we've been shifting that around a little. Chris, have we set a date for that? Not yet.
Not yet, and we'll talk about that, but I don't think we set a date yet.
Perfect. All right. Well, we'll make sure that everyone knows, as long as you are getting the emails to join, you should have that information. We'll be sure to keep you up to date on that. And then I will be hosting the tug on June 23rd. I have to give Jonathan Pape credit. He is the one who organized this current tug, but he's not able to be here today. As always, we can use any and all content, and it's super helpful for us to know not only if any of you want to present, we love doing the community spotlights and hearing more of our members, but also just what you're interested in. So if you're interested in how to collaborate better, or how to build better dashboards, or what Ryan's favorite pinball machine is, we would love to know that so we can start to present and make sure that it's relevant for everyone involved. So here's just a few of the ways that you can let us know. Email is great, or submitting through there. You can also directly contact any of the leaders for that. So just for an idea of what we're going to be going through today, currently on the welcome and intro section. And then I was going to give a little bit of insight into Tableau Conference this year and talk through a little bit of, why you might want to go or at least attend virtually, what to look forward to, and kind of the benefits of Tableau Conference. And I like to remind, while I'm saying all of this, I do not work for Tableau. I just think it's a cool thing, and I'm very excited to be going to my first conference this year. And then Jade Wimpy is going to be talking to us about Tableau used with Miro and how you can start to collaborate using Miro. I imagine there's going to be a lot of great stuff there. And I'll talk a little bit more about Jade when we get closer to that. But I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about Tableau Conference. So for anyone who doesn't know, Tableau Conference is the annual conference where Tableau just tries to go get the whole community together, get everyone excited. They announce a lot of the new features that are upcoming in Tableau, what they're working on. And they have a ton of awesome events like Iron Viz or Data Night Out that really helps promote the community and kind of bring everyone together. So we're excited for the in-person portion, but there's also an excellent virtual portion that I want to make sure to call out later. As far as who Tableau Conference is kind of targeted at, it's going to be everyone. So I was kind of going through the different sessions they have, and there's a filter on the website where you can start to see, are you just a business user, are you beginner, or are you advanced? So there's some really great stuff there. This year, there seemed to be a lot of sessions about Center of Excellence. So how you can build a community at your organization. And there's a lot of use cases which are valuable to look at. So see how much or how other companies have built. And it looks like they have everything from small mom and pop companies to giants like Comcast that are presenting there. There's, as always, a lot of talk about dashboarding. So visual best practices, and that ranges once again from, there's one called Back to the Basics, which I'll talk to a little bit, all the way to advanced design principles. With Tableau Prep, there's going to be a lot of presentations on that and how we can start to utilize that. There's also a lot of talk on data science this year, which I'm really excited about. There were a lot of tagged posts that talk about utilizing AI and machine learning all in the Tableau environment. So I'm really excited to hear how they do that. And then there's some really cool ones about that are more personal. So how can you as an individual benefit from Tableau? How can it benefit your career and what that looks like? As far as why to attend Tableau conference, in person, like I said, they have a lot of really fun stuff, but virtually, it's a great opportunity to learn about different areas. To attend virtually, it is free. So you can attend all of these. There's some community ones. There's some hands-on exercises where you can really start to learn. It's a great opportunity for networking, and it's super fun. I always get excited by the Iron Viz, which I think, Jade, are you competing in that this year?
So I was so close. I was number 4 in top 10. So right there. But no, not this year, maybe next year.
Yeah. Oh, dang. Well, we can hang out during it.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, so little preview of how excited we are to have Jade. She's pretty awesome at dashboarding, in case you couldn't tell how close she got it. All right, I also went through and just wanted to kind of explore some different sessions that I thought were really exciting and could potentially pertain to, you know, some of our Portland Tableau users. Back to Viz Basics is one that immediately stood out to me. So it specifically says it's for anyone, no matter where you are in your data visualization journey. It's designed for newbies, but it's really, you know, they're focusing on back to the basics. It's always good to kind of brush up on that stuff.
My friend, you know Eric Balish that's talking about that at the conference? No? Oh,
No.
He is in DC. I think he's a Tableau ambassador, but he's presenting that, and it's an amazing just project, community project, and really good way for people who want to get started to practice the basics and stuff like that. Anytime someone asks me how to get new or how to get started in Tableau, I usually point them to this. Since Makeover Monday is kind of wrapped up, or they're paused for this year, this is a good alternative to that, I think.
Oh,
just heads up.
No, yeah. Anyone who knows about any of this, let's build the hype. Thank you. The other one I was really excited for was best practices for using Tableau and Snowflake together. As a consultant, I've seen a lot of usage of Snowflake, and moving from Tableau to starting to learn more about Snowflake, I'm excited to see kind of how those two can really tie together to be most efficient. I'm also really excited about bringing the wow factor with Tableau Public portfolios. So that one is just kind of how you can build your own personal brand with your Tableau Public portfolio. And, you know, that portfolio is where you can get pulled from for being the Viz of the day, or, you know, what really builds your kind of personal brand within the Tableau world. Building accessible dashboards is another one that I'm really excited about. They've got a lot this year focusing around diversity and data, women and data, and then they have multiple sessions on how to build accessible dashboards. So I'm really excited to learn about that and hopefully make all my dashboards more inclusive and more effective that way. There's a talk about Center of Excellence development. So that'll be really great if you're a small company or a company just starting to get into the world of Tableau. I would strongly recommend getting to that Center of Excellence development session. Help build out some guidance for, you know, how to start that, where to start, where to go, what that path looks like. And then finally, there's Data Set Go, Jumpstart Your Data Career. It's to supercharge your career path. There are a lot of supercharged events this year, I've noticed when I was going through all of these. But it claims you'll leave with insights to help you successfully advance your data career. So I think typically at the PDX Tug, we get a lot of people who are very new to Tableau. And I think this would be a great session for you to view if you're new to Tableau and you kind of want to see, why should I learn this? What will this mean for my career? And then I also added a few of the in-person presentations that I'm really excited about. Data Night Out, if anyone is going, please shout it out in the chat. But Data Night Out is just a really fun event that I've only heard of in the past. This is my first year. I'm also excited for the Iron Viz, which is kind of a live timed dashboard creation bonanza. So it's really cool to see people in person go from here's your data and your prompt to some incredible, beautiful dashboards. And then finally, there are a lot of hands-on sessions. So I know that I'm a person who, if I'm just sitting watching a video, I can't learn. But if I actually do it and walk through all the different steps and have someone there to help me, it locks it in so much better for my memory. So there are a few virtual sessions that are also hands-on, but obviously it's a lot harder to be hands-on when the hands are virtual. So that's just a few of the things that I'm really excited about Tableau Conference. Once again, shout out in the chat and feel free to reach out if you are planning on going. We're hoping to get as many people together as we possibly can.
If you have another one, if you're interested, one of my teammates, Jared Flores, he did has the YouTube videos of the Tableau prep 100 days, I think. And so he and Jenny Martin and Carl Alton are presenting 100 days of #prep and data challenge. So if you need some more tips on Tableau prep, that would be a good one to check out too.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Jade. Yeah, there are like 100 different talks and sessions this year. Some of them are just in person, some of them are just virtual, a lot of them are both. So it's definitely worth looking into. No matter where you are in your Tableau journey or what you're interested in. It is a really cool event, and I feel like a Tableau drone when I say that I'm excited, but I genuinely am.
Hey, Danny, sorry. We had a question in the Q&A to see if we could have this emailed out after, but we can just post it to the community site.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, we'll make sure it's posted.
Right on.
Awesome. Is there anything else in the chat? Any other questions?
No, I haven't seen anything.
All right. Well, then let's get to talking about Jade. So we're super excited. Jade actually recently got nominated for Viz of the Day with her Lost But Non-Forgotten. And it looks like that was an Iron Viz challenge. So I'm excited to hear maybe a little bit more about that. But Jade is a senior visual analytics consultant for Analytic Vision. And we're just really excited because not only does Jade clearly make some pretty incredible dashboards, she's also talked about, kind of how to utilize different processes to help collaborate and, better work with Tableau, even when you're not in Tableau itself. So with that, Jade, I'll let you take it away.
Okay, cool. Yes, thank you so much. The Lost But Not Forgotten Viz was actually my Iron Viz submission. So that was super fun and very time consuming to do. So that was my first time entering in Iron Viz. So if you're on the fence about doing it, it is worth it and it's pretty fun, but it does take up a lot of time. So you just kind of got to mentally prepare. But okay, I will share my screen. maybe. Okay, can you guys see that?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. Hi, everybody. As Danny mentioned, my name is Jade, and I'm a visual analytics consultant with Analytic Vision. Our founder, this company is only about 2 years old. You may know him. He's a former Tableau Zen master, Nelson Davis, and he's amazing. He's our fearless leader. But I've been working with them for about a year. Prior to that, I was at Clemson University working in the finance office. And so I did a lot of Tableau there with, student data and facilities data, that kind of stuff. But since I moved to Analytic Vision, I've gotten like a lot more exposure to different tools like Miro and different types of data, different like processes, because I was all front end Tableau, and now I'm kind of moving backwards with Osrex and Snowflake, that kind of thing. So definitely been a journey, but my emphasis is definitely Tableau and visualizing things. I'm pretty active on Twitter if you're involved with the Twitter community. So that's my little handle if you want to check it out. But today I'm going to talk about using Tableau in a virtual world and how you can develop and design your dashboards. I know that's been a huge challenge for people when COVID hit. We all went remote, and now some of us are still remote. Like I'm in Greenville, but AV is based in Atlanta. And so, all of our work is done with our clients now virtually. So it's been a huge shift, and I was introduced to Miro and just kind of got obsessed with it. You'll see what I mean. So just a quick overview. I'm really going to talk about like how to design your dashboards beginning to end. So from the discovery to the data sources to wireframe, your client feedback, overall project management, and the dreaded documentation at the end that we all love to hate. So taking a step back, just in case you're not familiar, what is Tableau and what is Miro? Tableau is a visual analytics platform. It's basically, you guys know what it is. It's a drag and drop tool where you can connect to data and build line charts, that kind of thing. That way you can easily build dashboards to share your data with others. But Miro is an online collaborative whiteboarding tool. So instead of being in a conference room where we're writing on the wall, it's kind of like it's very similar to like a Google Doc where you can all work on it at the same time and go from there. And if you guys have questions in the chat, like I kind of don't see them. If any of the hosts want to stop and ask me things, feel free to go ahead and just interrupt me.
Yeah,
and if
I'll
I
keep
go
an
too
eye
deep.
out, Jade.
Okay, cool. So if you're new to Miro, I want to give a quick Miro walkthrough. So up at the top, you have your main board menu where you can see what the project's called, different settings you have available, notifications. Oh, I'll get rid of that. And the search feature. So if your board's gigantic and you're like, wait, I know we talked about lease data, but it was a while back. When did that happen? You can type in lease and it'll take you there. You've got some interactivity. So when you do have a meeting with your clients or even just your team and you're trying to liven it up a little bit, you can have certain timers for events, you can take polls, different things like that. And then this one is just this is your collaboration section. If there's more people in here, you can see this turns on the ability to see their like mouse cursor move. You can add different reactions to things, if you're just really excited. And then you can also, like, if you do have clients kind of getting distracted by the board, you can bring everyone to you so they can see your screen and kind of get everyone back on track and your sharing capabilities. So down here is your navigation to zoom in, zoom out. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But over here is your frames, your comments, your history. That's the frames I'm walking through right now. Basically, a frame is what's wrapped. It's the little outline that you wrap content in. They can be any shape or size. But and then the big thing, the fun stuff, is you get to use with your toolbar over here. So each frame you can interact with what's called Miro's canvas. There's so much interactivity from different templates, hiding your frames, sticky notes, those usually go everywhere, text, and I'll walk through some more of these as we go on. But that's a very quick and dirty overview of Miro. They have much better documentations, how-to videos on their website, definitely go there. But backing up, like this is the overall like Miro board that we're going to dig into. frames inside of frames, sticky notes, comments, you can see all of that. But I just wanted to back up to show you like how big, Miro can get, different things you can include. So let's jump back in. And so I mentioned, this is a Tableau user group meeting, and here we are talking about Miro. So I will say this is very Miro heavy as far as the presentation, but it's transformed the way I do dashboards, and it's helped me out so much. So thinking about it, what are some of the struggles you experience beginning to end when you build a Tableau dashboard for internally for your company? Maybe you have clients, but especially now that the majority of us are virtually. I know for me, like having conversations through disjointed emails, things get lost in translation, Tableau links break, or like where you're looking at different things, people are asking you, where's the latest link? I don't know. Even like for this one, remembering who the intended audience is, like sometimes you've been through iteration after iteration of your dashboard, you're like, wait, am I even answering the business question? Is this doing what it's supposed to be originally? What was that initial conversation? Sometimes we struggle with overall project management because as an analyst, we do get in the weeds. So it's like, are we, did we set up that meeting? Have we talked to leadership? Another big one is keeping up with data source elements. First of all, what are we connecting to? Where is that located? What are some passwords? Or even just, maybe you have to work with the data engineers, you need this field, but not this one. We need to make a change to this calculation, that kind of thing. And here's an example, like these are already in here, but you can tag different things. So if I'm in a meeting with someone and I present this question to a client, they can come in and drop their own sticky notes with like their own struggles. Like I said before, the dashboard links are lost in emails, but you can come over here, add your own sticky note and say like, maybe just for me, I'll make this bigger. Oh, not that big. Just as the analyst, it's hard for me to keep up with the changes the client wants to the dashboard. So it's like, sometimes you're like in a meeting, you're trying to scribble it all down, what they all want to do, but what needs to change, change the bar to a line, whatever. Keeping up with it all can get pretty cumbersome. So that's typically what I struggle with, but I know that this isn't all encompassing, but those are the general things that I know Miro can help you tackle. So let's go through an example. All right, so say we have this project where a worldwide company would like you to help them visualize their global lease agreements so they can better understand their current locations, employees, square footage, and costs. This project actually comes from my interview with Analytic Vision. I had to build a dashboard that did this. So it was kind of the perfect thing to walk through. But first thing that you would want to do with your company, client, whoever you're building this dashboard for, is to do a discovery session. Why the heck are you building this? So a discovery session is typically the first step in a project where you work with the team to brainstorm and identify the vision, goals, scope, audience, and other things that will create a successful outcome. So what I typically do when I know I have our discovery meeting coming up, I just built this little table in Miro. You can use that with their table tool. I kind of colored it. I just copied it over to different boards now that I've used it and it's been successful. But it's broken out into audience, business question, key metrics, key features, and desired customer journey, or the UX. Let me zoom in a little bit. So let me do this. Okay, so the first one, usually before the meeting, I will type out what I know or what questions I have, what I think the dashboard wants to do. I'll type it out, and that's the black text I have. But during the meeting, as I listen, or as clients are involved, we kind of add the sticky notes to it to make sure we get what we need to. So who is the target audience? We want to look at leadership, but we're also know that our risk officer is going to need to see this at the lease level. Why, or like, what will they be using it for? Why is it helpful? In this example, they want to know what prices are compared for each market, just seeing where they are location wise as far as their leases. Should we renew our leases? Can we answer that with this dashboard? And ultimately, having a dashboard is going to save time for their manual reporting, things like that. The business question we go through, what key questions are you trying to answer with the data? Again, that's kind of similar to this. We would walk through that. Key metrics, for this one, an example, we want to know region, country, lease ID, employee count, annual cost, different cost metrics. And then they may say, oh, wait, can we add status of the lease? Is it occupied or is it vacant? We may want to have some more detail or a filter where we could see lease use. Is it an office, e-suite, that kind of thing. Another one that we typically ask is, what key features do you want it to have? So, do you want to drill down in this view to where you see it by country, by city even? What's important? Like, do you want, we determined for this project, we want to rank them so we can see top 10 countries by each metric. What are our most expensive? What are our most profitable? What's above or below market? Download a PDF. I know another one that literally, like most people ask for, is ability to download the data. So always got to get that one in there. So this just helps me know high level what they want and the granularity that they'll need. And that helps me figure out the journey that we can take when we visualize the story. Here we go from region to country, maybe city, but we do need lease level data. So that's the way I go about the discovery session. Of course, it doesn't always look like this. There's sticky notes and scribbles everywhere too, but this is usually a good way to talk with your client or the business you're building this dashboard for, to help them, to even understand, like, wait, yeah, what is our business question? And it's a great resource to have to go back to.
And Jade, for that step, do you typically let, like, if you're working with a client or whoever the stakeholders are, do you let them come back here and like add as they go, or what's your process there?
It depends. For clients who don't use Miro, like they usually just like to watch and see, and I'll kind of like I was talking about before, I can copy link. So that will copy the link directly to this portion of the Miro board. So it's like, maybe after the meeting, I'm like, here's a summary, take a look, please add anything, like make sure, if I'm missing something, let me know. But usually when I'm in a meeting, we're in there together. So like, I'll see their mice move and they might add and move different things. But there's definitely back and forth. And sometimes it's not just one discovery session. We might have to have another one and another one to, keep making to figure out everything we need. So it depends, but I usually like it more when they're in here with me, kind of moving things around.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So another one I like to use Miro for is data modeling. So data modeling is the process of creating a visual representation of either a whole information system or parts of it to communicate connections between data points and structures. Fun definition. So this I don't have to do for every project, because sometimes I'm brought in and they already have the data ready, but sometimes it's like, they have this piece but need this piece. And what normally happens, similar to how I do dashboard discovery, I take what I think I know about the data sources and build it out. All of these in here are Miro shapes. And so I come in and I'm like, okay, whoop, I don't want that one. Get rid of it. So these are my main data sources. I try to think about it like Tableau. I have portfolio data. We'll need HR employee data. We need a geocode, our lease addresses, and I know they want market data. So how do those relate? I know I have these fields like lease ID, region, country, address, all in my portfolio data. It already exists in our data warehouse. Before the meeting, I come in and try to build this out. And you can add arrows, or I've got these connected to look similar to like a join, that kind of thing. But this piece is really good to have your data engineer with you to say, look, is this what it looks like? Do we have, function use? Do we need to get it from somewhere else? Current LED was an example. How far back do we want to go? I'm able to come in here, build what the model would look like, and then add sticky notes, change colors, do whatever to kind of make sure we know what it's going to look like. This helps a lot too, because as a Tableau analyst, you typically know how Tableau reads the data. It needs to be like taller, not wider. You may want certain fields to have certain fields so you can do calculations in Tableau. So communicating that with your engineer up front makes building the dashboard like eons easier. And you could, like I said before, you can come in here and add notes. Like, we know that we're going to need to get third-party, if I can spell, third-party data for this. So then the business knows, like, hey, we don't have that right now. Maybe you could color it red or whatever to say, like, leadership, you need to figure out what third party you're using, bring it in, and what we need to connect it on. So building this out beforehand is a little time consuming, but I found that it adds a lot of value and people can come back to it.
Yeah, that's being echoed in the chat.
Okay,
This
cool.
This is good practice regardless of tool.
Exactly, yeah.
Definitely agree.
Okay, well then now we can go to my favorite part, using Miro for dashboard wireframing. So wireframing is a step in your dashboard process, representing a draft, not an exact match of the final layout. It shows the user what the interface will look like through rough images or screenshots. So this truly to me is a great representation of like what you would do in an office. You're like on your whiteboard, here's the big thing, let's have top countries, let's have a map here, that kind of thing. And with Miro, you're welcome to just drag shapes and kind of go on your own to have these different things. Like if you know you need a mobile layout and you want it to be long, or if you want it PowerPoint size, you can make it your own and put things, whatever. If you use Figma, it's funny, I go back and forth between Miro and Figma because I find that Miro can actually do a lot of the same things Figma can do. And it still look pretty nice. Not as nice as Figma sometimes, but it gives you your low, medium fidelity wireframes. So you're welcome to build it yourself, but if you just need kind of a place to start, this is actually a template that Nelson developed. And so you're able to come into Miro, click your template, I'll do that slower, your template icon over here in your toolbar. And you can already see that, Miro is used for like everything. So there's all these different use cases. You can explore the templates on your own and see what fits your needs best. But if you just type in Nelson Davis, you can actually like create templates and share them with the public. So he has this dashboard, high level wireframe that you can use. You can preview it, you can use it blank, that kind of thing, but it'll drag and drop it to your Miro board, and you're able to kind of just have a really good framework to use for a client. He kind of has it set up with like, what filters do you want? Let's have some KPIs at the top. What's your first business question? And depending on what that is, why can't I type in this? Oh, it's locked. Let me unlock it really quick. So maybe my first question is, where are our leases? You could say, okay, perfect. Now let's add a map here. And that's like your very low fidelity with sticky notes kind of thing. But what's also cool about this particular template he has is you could ahead of time, if you know who's going to be in the meeting, you can assign people to them, like put everybody's name. And so everybody has a color and they're able to add different places. It just helps people get more involved and pay attention, because I know Zoom screens get kind of tiring sometimes. It also comes with this visual vocabulary, which can be helpful for clients. You can get this, you can just Google this and find it. But if they're having trouble, they want to show correlation or ranking, it just based on their question, you can recommend a viz with this part to a whole, like, oh, you want to use a pie chart, that kind of thing. It's helpful if you're really needing to explain like data viz basics. So, and then another thing that he has is these little cards. So this says main KPIs and calculations. You can add sticky notes below it, or you can open it up. And if you really need to add your definitions or something, you can type out a better description of everything here and just have fun with that too. So you have like notes inside of notes, and it'll have a little icon that says, hey, I've typed something here. So I've used this a couple times. It just depends on where the conversation is. But basically what I would do is I would take something like this and then use some of Miro's other fun things to make it come alive. So I'll show an example, because Miro actually has a chart app. It's just called Tables and Charts, and it's over, you can find it in your toolbar, you can pin it, you can move these around and put them where you want to based on how often you use it. But if you click it, you can see it as just a couple, common charts. I don't know if a funnel is common, but definitely a pie chart and your horizontal and straight bars. And it'll give you a chart example and it'll let you configure it and fill it out. And it's just like really a quick and easy way. They're like, oh, I want a pie chart that shows something. You can literally drop it right in front of them in a client meeting. I can show you. Oh, wrong one. So if I come, where did it go? Charts. I use this a lot. So here we've just got your basic pie chart, but if you double click, you'll get this little pop out. Maybe the client wants to see our lease occupancy, like overall. So maybe we would just have like, I mean, I don't know, you don't have to know what the numbers are, but you can have that vacant. And then there we go. And it just creates that for them, and then you can drag and drop and put it anywhere. But instead of having to build this in Figma or even here, like stack circles on top of each other, it just makes it really quick. And you just drop it in your wireframe right then and there, and it helps them see. Another handy tool, or a couple, is Miro's wireframe library and Miro's icon finder. So this one I use a lot because, in my opinion, their wireframe buttons look pretty similar to what's in Tableau. Not quite, but good enough. So you can come over here and search their wireframes for components or different icons. Their drop-down menu reminds me a lot of what's in Tableau, like when you add a filter. So if you're trying to visualize or wireframe different filters, you can definitely just drag and drop these and you don't have to build them yourself. You can kind of add different things and go from there. But I've used the radio buttons before. And if you're wireframing a website too, like if you're embedding Tableau in a web page, these are really great resources to use. They have icons too. But another good one, so before, Miro in their chart, they only had those few that you could create and were interactive. But if you want to give a visual representation of what a donut chart would look like, I just used Miro's little icon finder, and it's the same icon finder that you would find on the web. You can just type in donut chart and then pick a favorite. You can like throw it in there just for low fidelity wireframe stuff. Takes a second usually for these. But again, drag and drop it where you need to go. So all of these components, when you use them together, can end up looking something like this. So we've got our version 1 before with the sticky notes and everything using Nelson's template. Now we know what they want to see, their KPIs, their filters, their questions that they're asking. So let's build, a low fidelity, or this would be medium fidelity wireframe. So I've got it in a frame. These are just square shapes that I use side by side. Text, and then these two are the little wireframe library additions. Here for the leases and icons, I've grouped together text and then little icon images for each of these. And then over here, we've got all 3 of these are using Miro's charts that you can drag and drop in. The only caveat with these is that you can't change the colors, but I think that's fine for this kind of thing. And this is an image from Google. You can always just copy paste anything you need to. If they've got screenshots from other examples, you can screenshot, drop them in here. What's also pretty cool is if you know that your client or customer is going to be using their phones a lot, and if you've had any experience using Tableau's mobile layouts. It's actually pretty easy. It takes what's in your dashboard and makes it all vertical, and you can edit that a little bit and make it pretty. But if you ever want to show this, kind of just represent what this would look like to a client, Miro has phone frames, and you can just right click show device, and it looks very similar, like, you know, what it would look like in your hand. We actually had a client that was asking for this. They were kind of getting frustrated, you know, but we want to have it mobile. And my teammate Quee was like, we can do it. This is what it would look like. You know, maybe we have this on this screen. When you scroll, you'll see this. And it just made it easier for them to visualize it with us and understand. So that was a huge hit. Okay, so now,
like
go ahead.
I feel like it's worth calling out for anyone who's maybe newer to Tableau. Tableau allows you to design specifically for different devices. So when someone views it on a laptop versus a phone, you'll get different designs. So a really good call out here.
Yeah. Thank you. Good segue. So now we've got our wireframe, right? We as the analysts have put this together, or as the storyteller, we've put this together and we need feedback. So I also use Miro to do that. And again, it's normally like we've set up a meeting, we're chatting and talking, and I showed them this and they're like, oh, cool, this is great, but let's change a few things. So a good example is someone could drag and drop in here, like, oh, let's add a market comparison visual. Let's see, you know, where our lease is at compared to market. We want to call out region, let's add that. And oh, to your point, Danny, like sometimes if, say in the meeting, we talked about things, but they had another idea later, you can always use Miro to come in and add comments, and you can tag people. So I encourage people, it's like, oh, if you want something later, leave a comment, you can tag me, and then it'll notify me that you've left something new and I can go check it out. So in this example, I'm tagging Taylor, who in this case is our marketing guru. I need your company colors so I can, make this brand align. And again, you can come in here and add different sticky notes. We need to add our region, those kind of things. Yeah, it really provides an easy way to get feedback, and so you know exactly what a user wants. And sometimes this is the right story, and sometimes it isn't. You're like, oh, this is too high level. Let's make it more granular. Doing this really, really helps me as an analyst, and our clients typically, we've gotten really good feedback from it. Just how much, like having it all in one place and seeing it like this is good for everybody. So this is so after a meeting, when I've got my wireframe and I need to actually start building it in Tableau. I'm super type A, and this is the method to my madness. So either I take that same view and copy it over, or I work directly from it, and I color code my sticky notes based on my actual progress in Tableau. So anything that was that normal sticky color yellow, I just haven't gotten to it yet, is a note, a question, or an action item. Anything that doesn't require my action, but I needed to be there, I usually put in blue. So like over here, we've got like, it's not a change to the dashboard, but deadline's October, just so we know. Anything in the darker yellow is in progress. So I know we need to add a detailed marketing visual, but I'm in the process of doing it. It's taking me a little longer. I'm not quite done with that yet. Green is obviously completed. Added the logo. We're using company colors. Things are going great. And then maybe sometimes like I hear from the client, like, actually, we don't need to see that, no longer applicable. It's there just because I like to keep it in case they're like, hey, wait, where is this? I'm like, oh, well, you told me a week ago that you don't want it anymore. So it just helps me really stay on track. Again, I'm type A. So obviously you can set this up however you like, but it's just helped me, especially if like you're working on multiple projects. It's like I jump off of one and you're like, oh, wait, where did I leave off with this lease dashboard? I'm not quite sure. Oh yeah, I still got to do these two things. It's been super helpful for me. So that's at a micro level, but you can also use Miro on a macro level when it comes to project planning. some of our leadership uses this when they're trying to land a project to talk about overall timeline and what's going on. But this is another one of those templates you can use. It's a Kanban board or an action plan, and you can change all of this and add different cards and things. But basically, as you start doing things for the dashboard projects, you can move and change different things. Like we've used company colors, but now I'm in progress of making that market visual. So you just move it over. And typically, like not usually if I'm working with a product owner or a project manager, they like to see this just to know where I'm at, and it helps to communicate that. Okay, so now I've wireframed. Well, we've done dashboard discovery. I've got my data sources. I've wireframed. I'm building in Tableau, and I've kind of got a few. I've built part of it. Well, that was version 1 or 2. And so I just wanted to put this little LOL here and say that normally we have multiple meetings where it's like, here's a wireframe, add this, here's wireframe 2, 3, 4, 5, 90, like whatever, however many it takes to get that dashboard in a place that our customers want and need. So this is gonna look kind of funny, but we're gonna have our final dashboard and we're gonna draw the recipe out. So now you're here on version whatever. We've got company colors, our global presence, dashboard, so we can see leases across the country broken out by region. We can see leases by status and by use. We've got that market comparison graph, our top 10 rankings, and just different KPIs that people can find helpful. So when you're done with a dashboard, oh, can you guys hear me? Okay, sorry, my connection messed up for a second. You built the dashboard, you're happy with it, the client's happy with it. How do you tie it all up in a bow? We use Miro to do that too. So you can have a screenshot of the final dashboard and a link to where it is, whether that's Tableau Online, Tableau Server, that kind of thing. In Miro, you can actually link items to other items in your Miro board. It will move to that widget. So if you're like, hey, wait a minute, does this answer our business question? Are we sure? Like, do we know who our audience is? You can go right back to that conversation and make sure you're, following everything that you set out to do. You can link to data source lineages or even have your data definitions here in case people are curious. But one of the coolest things, I should have had this pulled up, but I'll just walk through it. I can show you how to do this if you want me to, but one of the coolest things you can do is you can actually embed Miro in Tableau. So this is my Tableau public. We've got that same dashboard. As you can see, we've got some more detail if you ever want to dig into that, but the lease level and the analysis, that kind of thing. But our last tab is our documentation of the whole project. And you can link this. You can provide a password to certain people if you don't want people to see it, but right now it's public. So you can come in here and you've just embedded it with the web object. You just copy and paste the iframe link. And yeah, there you have it. It's like a fully interactive Miro board. So people can even still come in here and add comments, do whatever, search for different things and see, how the project started and ended. So that's something that we've done for a few clients too that need to know more of the background, and it's okay to have it as a tab in the actual dashboard. But
on that last thing you just showed, are you able to limit the permissions so they're just viewers and
Yep.
not able to edit? Okay, cool.
Yep, you can do that. I think on share, let's see if it'll pull up. Yep. Anyone with the link can view, can comment, edit, or just turn off the access. And that's where you can set your password too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So it would be a great way to just share documentation.
Exactly. Yeah. And some people are visual learners. Some people, like to read and see it. So I basically have this whole presentation on my blog written out step by step on how to do each of these things. So you're welcome to check that out. But other than that, I am done if anybody has any questions. But thank you guys for having me in Portland.
That was great.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was awesome. There's a lot that whether I'm using Miro or not, I am 100% going to steal.
Okay. That's great. Have it all.
And to that point, I imagine maybe not everyone has access to Miro, but maybe they have some other whiteboarding tool. I know there's been like an uptick in people using different kinds of online whiteboarding tools since COVID. Do you have any tips, or I mean, I feel like a lot of this could be accomplished probably in other tools as well. And I mean, do you have any tips for anybody that's using some other tool that is a similar whiteboarding tool?
Yeah. So I will say for Miro, the learning curve was surprisingly small for me. Like it is overwhelming at first, don't get me wrong, but like after a few tries and watching other people do it in meetings or watching, one or two videos, you kind of get the hang of it. Like I said, I've only been working with AV for a year and it's picked up really well. This is my favorite thing to use. But I mentioned Figma. They're very similar. You can wireframe, you can design amazing things in Figma, that are way more detailed than a wireframe. But now they've introduced a visual collaboration whiteboard thing. I'm not as familiar with that, but I think concepts are the same. Getting people to engage and really just using this to communicate and document is really the main thing. So Miro is not the one and only, but just practicing with it and communicating with it is good. I will say that Miro, we have an enterprise license, but Miro does have a free version. I think it has all of the same capabilities, but I think you're limited to the amount of projects you can have. I think that's the only caveat.
Yeah, we have 2 questions. Someone's asking, can you integrate Miro into Tableau Desktop, or is that only public?
You can in desktop. I might as well just show you guys. Let me stop sharing for a second and I'll pull it up. Or do you want me to walk through how to do it in Tableau? Okay. I don't know how much time we have, but.
We're
So.
got about 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. What you want to do is on your Miro board, click the share button and then embed. And then I just copy this. And you can pick where you want your start area to be. That's pretty cool. So you can move around and set different start areas, but you take this and then I just paste it into Miro and then I get, of course it's white, hang on. Then you take the HT or the URL and then, well, I'm gonna stop share for just a second. I'll pull up Tableau. I should have had this pulled up already. I normally do when I present this. Sorry, guys.
No worries.
Well. Okay, I'll share it again. So then when you have your dashboard, like I've got that same look and feel, this is the global presentation dashboard. But if you want to bring in your Miro documentation, all you would do is come over to your objects page and drop in, not an image, a web page, copy that URL and let it load. As long you can publish this to server public, as long as it's a URL that people have access to, then they should be able to see it no matter where you publish it. So that's pretty neat. Any other questions? Anything else? Oh, you can see me.
It looks like we had one question. Do your clients have to have Miro or can they access snapshots of it?
They can access that. They don't have to have Miro. They can log in and use it. And usually if they don't have an account where you see that name, it'll say like Viz guest or Viz painter, like that kind of thing. So, yep. Lots of our clients don't have Miro, but usually they want it after we work with them with it. So they end up using it a little bit more.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then I think the last question I'm seeing is what's your website with all the steps?
Oh, okay. You can use this QR code. Well, that zoomed in, but it's, or you can Google Data Unjaded. I can show you. What are you doing? Yeah, there we go. Now the link's working. So this is my website, Data Unjaded. It's got Wix in front of it because I don't want to pay for a URL because I'm cheap. But this is the article with all of the steps. Basically what Miro is, and then, you know, each of the elements that we talked about today for dashboard discovery, data source modeling is very, very, very similar. How to do different, how to add all the elements, that kind of thing. And then link back to the actual dashboard and how to do all that embedded and everything. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank
I
you
can
so
drop it in the
much,
chat.
Jade.
Yeah, of
Really
course.
Appreciate it. That is super helpful. And there's a lot of, this is amazing. And this is wonderful. And thank you
Oh,
to the
yeah.
chat from everyone viewing. So
That's
we really appreciate
awesome.
having you here.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for inviting me. And anytime I can get like someone more on the Tableau hype, and now I guess the Miro hype, it's good. But really like pro Tableau all the way. But Miro just helps me do Tableau better, in my opinion, and helps get more buy-in from our clients and customers and stuff. So it's super helpful.
Yeah, this is super. This is actually really, really wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. And
All
thanks
right.
to everyone who came to view.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, all.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, y'all.